Hi, Frank. Hi.
Hi, is this the first time we've used Zoom?
It is, and it records right away, just it's an FYI.
Can you unrecord?
I think so, but I have to figure out, I'll have to go back in, I think. I gotta figure it out. It's not as simple.
Well, I'm more familiar with Zoom than what you were using GoToMeeting, I think.
Yeah.
I had consistently had problems with GoToMeeting. I don't know what it was. Probably user error.
No, I don't know about that. Let me see if I can. I don't know if I can. I should have asked somebody about this, but let me see.
I hope you can help guide me through this meeting. You had a lot you wanted to cover here.
Yeah, definitely.
How was your sister? Did you get a chance to?
Sorry, I'm trying to figure this part out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll figure that out before we have our next Zoom meeting, if that's okay.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Yeah, she's good. Yeah, they actually just got back from their visit to Brown. So with my niece, so it looks like that's a go.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so it's exciting.
Oh, hey, Betsy. You're on mute.
Hi, Cynthia.
Oh, there you go. There's Frank.
What's new and exciting?
Festival.
Festival.
Yeah. I feel bad, but I'm not going to be there. I'm still COVID shy.
That's okay.
Makes sense.
Hi, Prabhas.
Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Pretty good.
Hi, Diana.
Hi, Diana.
Hello.
I will have my camera off just for the start. I had an eye appointment earlier and my eyes are getting back to normal slowly. So while they do so, I'll have the camera off for a little bit.
Good idea.
You don't complain about sunny days until you have to have all that eye work done. Then you're like, cloudy would be nicer.
I agree. I was happy to see the weather forecast this morning, and then I had those disposable sunglasses on, and not my style necessarily.
So I was telling Frank, this is our first, he was asking me, and this is our first like official Zoom meeting with this group. So it starts recording right away. So I have to ask Denise probably tomorrow. I should have asked her before the meeting about how you can kind of regulate that. So bear with me.
So be careful what we say. Okay.
Let's see. Maybe some new news is our daughter Jessie is up in Durham now. We moved her up to UNH. So Kelly, our oldest, is at UConn, and Jessie, our next, is up at UNH. So
I have a granddaughter at UNH.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
She living on campus?
Right now, I think she's living off campus this year.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Avril Proc Patterson.
It's a small world. You never know.
That's true.
Right. How's she liking it so far, Frank?
She loves it. She's having a great time. And, she's working really hard as in her studies, on her social life. and she got a job in the downtown.
Good.
You know, working bussing tables at a
Mhm.
little breakfast spot. So, you know, it's good all around experience. But Nancy and I went to UNH undergrad, and
Great.
looking at that downtown, you know, and sort of the relationships that downtowns have with their universities. It's very different than ours, right?
Oh.
Different experience. It's older, you know, some of the buildings are tired, but they're trying to do some renovations. They just have different challenges. The biggest challenge they have is workforce. They couldn't open some of the dining halls because they didn't have the workforce.
Wow.
And they were waiting for students to come back to hopefully recruit. And, you know, I hear some of that in our downtown too, that it's very hard to fill shifts staffing wise. So
Yeah.
something to be attentive to.
Frank,
Well,
my ex-husband and I went to UNH
I remembered that. Yes.
way
that's
back when, about 900 years ago.
That's right.
Well,
We share that experience.
It's interesting because the job, you know, a lot of people think COVID, but Dermot's been doing a lot of work. You know, he works in the cleaning industry, and like up in New Hampshire, Vermont, they've been struggling even pre-COVID to fill a lot of those positions.
Mhm.
So it's
Wow.
probably worse now. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's 4:04. We're adding
Yeah, that's
Sean
my
in.
bad. I gotta keep my eyes over there. So Sean, but I haven't seen Steve pop up and I haven't heard from him. So
Okay.
Have we got a quorum?
I think
do.
Sean would be quorum.
Good, that's good.
Cynthia, do we have any, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Looks like 4:04. Did we have any public comment?
no,
No. All right, then moving on to the minutes of the August 23rd meeting. It's found in your packet.
Move to
Yes,
approve.
Betsy,
Move to approve.
move to approve. Second,
I'll second.
thank you, Diana. All in favor?
Aye.
All right,
Aye.
Aye.
nays. All right. Uh, After the approval of minutes, we have discussion of committee work plan. Also in your packet, thank you, Cynthia, for keeping track of all this. I see how it was updated, and in the bottom right-hand corner. So when it has the date on the work plan, that's the last time you've updated it. Is that what it is? It's not when I printed out. I think mine has 9/21. So
Yep.
that's the last time you saved it. Okay.
yes.
Well, I wanted the committee to look at this, and we really wanted to chart out, as every year we sort of work on a work plan, and try to space out our work so it's evenly distributed throughout the year, but also be aware of timelines and requirements of notifications and things. So sort of work backwards. And this year in particular, I think, is a challenge with of fitting in all that's going on with the strategic plan and sort of what the implications of that might be for our bylaws review, and thinking about structures. So I appreciate us reviewing this. And if anybody has any thoughts, I think it looked like there was good distribution of work, but others with other experiences may pick up on some things that I'm missing. Thoughts or input? Cynthia, and maybe past chair Diana and Betsy, do you have any, compared to past years, how does this work plan, compared to what other years we've done as a governance?
I just got home from Pennsylvania day before yesterday, and I'm kind of weak on my preparation for this meeting.
No,
But Cynthia, is there anything, you know better than any of us, is there any month on here that's got too much in it that you find a problem year after year?
No, I think, it's heavy in January. We don't meet in December. So
Uh-huh.
January, we start looking at the bylaws and start thinking about recruitment of board members. So that's that's definitely a busy month.
Yeah,
And then probably, January kind of through April, depending on whether there are bylaws changes, there's a whole process to go through with the board and then getting ready for the annual meeting. So
Mhm.
I think that time period is probably the busiest.
okay. Are there any changes you would make
Um,
in that time frame, or any other?
no, it's pretty doable. Obviously, with Prabhas graduating, that will be a change for next year in terms of finding a student rep.
Yeah,
And then we did add a few things from the last committee meeting that we'll talk about in today's agenda, so I won't jump into
Okay.
those.
Okay. That's good. Thank you. We'll accept the work plan as dated for now, but it's still a work in progress. So as we, if you have things to add, please forward them on to Cynthia.
Yeah.
And we'll incorporate them into our annual plan.
Frank,
Yes.
do you want it sent every month, like just as an attachment, or do you want me to just keep updating it as I have been?
I think it would be helpful just if you kept it updated, and
Okay.
maybe we make a note of it if there are new things to come up. It's also helpful to, at the conclusion of a meeting, sort of review just what we can expect, like this month. Look at what are we expecting in October. So it may just be a condensed version,
Okay,
or just it could be done verbally to the committee.
got it.
Next is discussion of board pipeline and committee appointments. And that was also an attachment.
did you discuss committee work plan?
That's what we were just.
Okay, all right.
So-
So it's this committee.
Yes, sorry, that
this
is a little
committee.
confusing, yes.
I thought, yeah, okay,
Yes.
thank you.
You-
Sorry
All
about
right,
that.
if you want to reopen it, I was closing that
No,
chapter for now.
No, I misunderstood what it was.
Okay. The board pipeline and committee appointments, that's a separate attachment as a Excel spreadsheet. Now, this has been a list that has been, we just contribute to and use as an idea for as vacancies come up, and both planned and unexpected, to know that we have some volunteers and some potential board members in the pipeline. Now there's different categories, right? So we have the town categories, town appointments to the board, the elected ones, as well as the Yukon appointments. So just put that out there. Cynthia, did you want to describe, was this just our running list?
Yeah, and I think, so yes, this is our running list, and then we have, and hopefully I sent this out, I'm trying to think if I remember. So last week Amanda resigned from the board,
We did.
and then we have Sam Bruder's situation that maybe Frank can address. And then and then Kyle would like to serve on the governance committee. So those are kind of three things,
The three items.
three items to talk about. As a
Let's-
reminder, as a reminder, we had discussed a couple of months ago, and this might have been Sean suggesting this, that we not do a heavy recruitment of new board members that are elected until after the strategic plan is done. So that's just, people's thinking may have changed on that, but I just want to remind people that was the discussion a few months ago.
So the first one that is the resignation submitted by Amanda Hensley. And that hers is an elected position,
Yes.
as I recall, and it was just citing busyness of schedule and a commitment to be able to attend and participate in all the meetings, which makes a lot of sense. I'm glad that you brought that forward. So what you're saying, Sean, I don't know if you can come off mute, but that we should, that's one of those positions that we should be attentive to, having the flexibility after we've incorporated the strategic plan and thinking about the implications for the bylaws, right? This is like a yeah, no, this is good. It's
It's a
like watching
virtual
TV.
tour.
Exciting. Where is he is the question.
He's in the facilities. I sort of recognize that ceiling. It appears like he's in a maze. Oh, you're on mute. After all that.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, John.
Did anybody play any music to my entrance?
No, we clapped.
Nice.
So Amanda's stepping down presents an opening here on the elected, among our elected board members. And the feedback that you had given to us is to consider waiting on recruitment of that in an immediate, because normally we would go right into, all right, let's get this filled as soon as we can get somebody. But what you're saying is that we'd be advised to hold a little bit, press pause on that until we learn more about implications of the strategic plan on our board. Is that something that could you describe a little bit why we would want to hold back, or is it just to give us that flexibility of what our needs might be?
Is that a question for me?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So sorry.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would, if I said that, I guess I would agree with myself, because I think that I do remember a conversation about just recruitment in general, regardless of whether or not it was to fill a vacancy or just recruit new members, that once we have a renewed vision and interest, that may open up new communication channels or just new interest from folks that wouldn't otherwise consider us. So unless we as a group feel that there's a need to recruit prior to that, I would defer any recruitment until we have a clear understanding of our strategic plan.
Okay. Does it cause any challenges quorum wise for the full board? Cynthia, maybe?
So we addressed that because we were having some concerns about it a couple of years ago. So it's based on how many people are actually in office.
Oh,
So we shouldn't have an issue.
Ah,
I mean, we
Okay.
still need a quorum, so I think we'd be at 11. So we need 6.
okay. Actually, that probably then helps us if she
It
was
definitely helps
citing
us.
challenges of making the meetings. I'm glad that she took that option. I think in speaking with her, I think she's very enthusiastic, wants to help out. It's just but being in a schedule of being able to make a meetings has different volunteers have different ways in which they can participate, and being on a committee and board like this may not be the right fit for her, but we certainly want to keep her in mind for other roles as volunteers. Okay, the other one was, that you mentioned, Cynthia, was Sam Bruder, and I think he's come up before, that he's also having some challenges schedule wise with work and being able to make these meetings, especially a 4 o'clock meeting for governance. And so I spoke with him, very enthusiastic, and I think again wants to participate, but being on a committee on the board probably isn't the best way of fulfilling that because of his schedule. Because to Cynthia's point, it does affect quorum. So Sam has not. I think Sam was going to, when I talked to him, was going to talk to some of the members of town council, because this is a town appointment position, which is different than an elected position. So I think he wanted to have some conversations there first before officially submitting a note to Kyle stepping off the board. So that's where that stands. What was the third item, Cynthia? Oh, maybe I was thinking of Provost, but that's a student position, but that's not until later in that we would have to start thinking about the student rep later on.
Yeah, this was in talking to Kyle over the last couple of weeks. He is interested in coming on this committee. He would probably resign from the festival, so I'll need to work with Denise on finding some more folks for the festival. But I think he feels that this is either governance or finance or good fits for him. So I believe that the committee can make the recommendation directly if it so chooses.
So you're asking for us to make a recommendation whether to accept him as a committee member, or is that
Yes.
what it is? Okay.
Yes.
Well, this was the first time it's been split where you haven't had the president serving on the governance committee and actually serving as chair. So I think it seems like a natural fit.
Yeah,
Let's
and
see,
it
Prabhas. Diana?
It streamlines, you were going to try to figure out how to get him the information, if he's able to join the meetings, that then, streamlines that a little bit as far as the communication part with governance.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I think we were gonna, I think it's still always helpful to exchange minutes and stuff, but I think you have to, living through it, you even just passively participating in a meeting, you pick things up. I think it'd be great to have them a part of this, especially as we're sort of thinking about the implementation of the strategic plan and its implications for the bylaws.
Yeah.
Also, in terms of recruiting, as we start to recruit board members, I think it would be helpful to have the president very much involved in that aspect of it, in clearing and encouraging, developing the inspiration for why you want to jump on the board. So I think this would be a good place where we would be doing that and can work with Kyle and so to support him in this president's role. Well, sounds like we may have a consensus here on encouraging Kyle to come on to the governance committee. What about as chair? Should we go back to having the president as chair of the governance committee? Diana, maybe you have some experiences with that.
Yeah, and this is just my opinion, but I feel like quite often, as president, as chair of the governance, that quite often people would look at the chair or the president to maybe take on tasks more so than, looking for the guidance from the chair. And I just think it kind of added to other tasks where, him being the president and, helping us with recruiting would be great with those people he knows. But, people will then look to you instead of maybe him if you're running the meeting about more things. I feel it's good to have another one guiding on the governance, somebody else guiding on finance, and then the overall. But that's just my vision from outside. I mean, I would, appreciate anybody else's thoughts on that.
I agree with Diana, because I think that people come from certain perspectives. Either a university perspective, a town perspective, a business perspective. And if you have one person who's chairing a couple of committees, that one perspective is the overriding perspective on those committees. So I think it's better to have a different chair for each of your committees, rather than having someone do more than one role as chair.
Prabhas or Sean, did you have any comments and thoughts?
I agree with everything that's been said.
Same.
Okay. All right. Cynthia, can you relay that? So officially, I think we've reached consensus that we want to invite Kyle on, and he has a, was he trying to make a decision? Does he need advice as to whether governance or finance, or is he going to ask them as well?
No, last time we spoke, he said governance. Early on, he thought the fit would be with either one of those. So that's what he said, I think a week ago when I talked to him last week. So I think that if the committee decides by consensus, then it would be on the board agenda. The board does need to approve it next Thursday.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. On the listing you have the pipeline, and I see you have a column here that says gap met. Have we talked about some of the priority areas for the board, the positions that we're looking for, some of the areas? Because on our activity sheet, we asked things like budgeting and sales, I think was one. Or are we looking at those gaps? Is that what you're putting down here, Cynthia?
Well, I think the ones on the spreadsheet that you have are a little more broad than the ones on the skills sheet. So, I know we've talked in the past that it would be nice to have E.O. Smith as our neighbor to the downtown, have somebody from E.O. Smith, which obviously we had with Amanda. So that was part of the Prabhas reaching out to her. So I think they're sort of work in tandem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sean, will anything come out of the strategic plan that talks about the board composition, specific in terms of skills and things that we would need that we'd want to track here?
Yeah, I think it could if they sense that there's a potential improvement that would help support where we're heading. Otherwise, I think that we should expect that they would at least give us that assessment that we could decide to take action on. The only other thing I could think of, but it's also composition related, is if they identify some new territory that we haven't explored in soliciting interest from people to join our organization, either our membership or our board via becoming a member first. So yes, I guess the short answer is yes, but it might vary depending on where we're heading.
In the just as past practice, when it comes to town council representatives on the board, do we leave that to the town and approach, like, when I approach Tony with looking for filling those positions, or is there another process I'm not aware of?
I approached Tony. I don't know if that's the usual, but that's what I
Okay.
did.
Okay. So then these positions are just for, the ones that are on the spreadsheet are just for elected positions. Is that right, Cynthia?
I would say not necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, one of the first person on that list was the one that was approached by Diana, and then I think Tony did some follow-up, so. You know, just, you know, the council appointment does not have to be a counselor.
Got it. Excellent.
Does this committee, Cynthia, or Frank, have discretion over those appointments before they're finalized?
No,
In other words, they're like a vetting process or interview process or anything like that?
well, that's a good question. I don't think that the council appointments to the Downtown Partnership Board have gone to the Committee on Committees, which is the way that it's, and Betsy may have some more background on this. That's the way I believe it's done. It's been done with all the other town committees, but partnership is a little bit different. So it's usually a agenda item that says that the recommendation is to bring on John McGuire or whoever it is. So it's a little more loose if I recalling correctly.
But it comes to us as a recommendation that then this committee votes on or the full board votes on?
Generally, it's been like Diana would tell Tony who's out there, and then Tony would take it from there, wouldn't come back here to
Right.
the committee or the board.
They would just announce the appointment to
But
us.
quite often, and I misspoke, quite often we did speak of it in governance first, at least every time I've been on.
Thought
We
so.
spoke, she didn't just go say somebody, we
Right.
spoke
Oh,
of
okay.
people, then Tony approached as the town appointee. So I guess at least every time I've been part of that process.
Mhm.
I mean, to be quite honest, I'm only asking. It's not like we got people knocking on our doors that we have to keep turning away. I mean, let's be honest. But I think that there's also, I don't know, certain personalities, certain people in town that might want to get involved that don't have the right motive, the same motivation as other volunteers for our organization. So I just want to make sure that we have a mechanism to vet those people. But as long as folks that are like-minded, like Tony, Diana, those of us that are already involved, they're already seeing it through that filter, I would imagine, right? So I think we're covered either way.
Excuse me, but
Yeah, Dan.
have we spoken to those people that are leaving, there was something we saw in those people that we wanted them to come on? Obviously their time is not there. Have we spoken to them about like Sean saying, like-minded people in there, there was something about them. Are we getting like maybe information from Amanda? Is there somebody she's seeing over there that we could start maybe talking about, like getting those names of, other people that are, maybe in the same, like if it's somebody else that's got an artistic side like Amanda did,
Mhm.
or, like what Sam has, and it doesn't even have to be a council member, but there's a lot he could bring that maybe he knows somebody that, I just think it's good to maybe bring those, have them bring names as they're leaving.
That's a good point. Cynthia, I think I saw in an exchange with Amanda that she had a couple of names. Maybe to bring forward.
You did, I was just trying to look them up,
Yeah.
sorry. Well,
And I asked Sam that question too. And
Okay.
he said he wanted to brainstorm with Tony some thoughts, so would get back to us, before. But that's a good point. And when if a board member is exiting, when they've completed their term, we do an exit interview. I don't know that we have that same opportunity here. I think we just did it. I did it informally. I might have a further conversation with Amanda. She has some thoughts about the position, and bring that back to the committee.
Well, I think that's a good idea, Frank.
Yeah, sorry, just one more thought. Like, I think about a Prabhas, we got him through UConn, but could we have, if somebody had brought him forward, not as as a town person, could we have had a Prabhas on our committee prior to that, without the UConn connection? Because, Prabhas may know, friends in town that would be very interested in something like this. And obviously that's a demographic we want, we would love to see, a young person that lives in town on our board. So even, yeah, I mean, obviously we'll look for help through the UConn when we're appointing, but we would love that to be brought up to us, and be reminded to bring those names to us.
And I just want to say, Prabhas, cover up your ears. I just want to say that we have never had a student member on the board that has been as active and has brought as much to the board as Prabhas has. And it's going to be damned hard to fill his position. That I'm sure of.
I'll second that.
Shouldn't he be doing some recruiting right now?
That's what I
Yep.
So
Well-
I'm still muted, Sean. I didn't hear that part, but thank you. No, I will definitely start looking and maybe compiling a list, maybe
That would
making
be-
it repeatable, like my own personal pipelines that we can start connecting. Just one other comment to the members leaving and asking if they have any like-minded people. Maybe we can make the note, maybe they might toss a few names forward today or as they start to head off the board, but letting them know that should in maybe a few months or a year, another name pops up, to just send it our way. So not just all at once, but if someone else maybe moves to town or new interaction, meet someone new that might fit the board, that those recommendations will always be welcome as well, especially if they weren't too close to this process.
Good point. I'd like to, with the festival coming up and we, staffing a booth among our volunteers, I'd like to encourage, I know Diana, you're signed up. I'm signed up. I got Kyle's going. Cynthia, you'll be there. The time. Prabhas, are you going to be able to swing by? Try to use that time well to see who's coming, who's attending, who's showing interest, who's stopping at the booth, and really make a pitch. It doesn't necessarily, you're not encouraging, just encouraging involvement, learning more, and use that as an that time that you're staffing the table to really be thinking about this and building a pipeline.
Yeah,
This
we've
is
done
not.
it in the past, Frank.
What was that?
We have done that in the past and had some pretty good conversations with people.
Good. Let's see what I'm not sure how what the response is going to be. I work with a couple other nonprofits, and this is a universal problem right now. Just getting people involved and timing. People's times have shifted. Their hours are different. So and willingness to make a commitment into the future when you're not even sure what the future is going to look like. It is a very challenging time for volunteer engagement. So I'm not saying that's an excuse. It's just an additional challenge we have right now. But I think we have a good start on a list here. So thank you for compiling this, Cynthia. And just at this point, this is intended to be a brainstorming list, but recognizing that we're going to have a couple of positions to fill, and and maybe need to see a lot of different. I really want to push our looking at different skills that people can bring, experiences, and just keep adding names to this list. So does anybody, if you have something else, somebody comes up to mind, please send it to Cynthia as a recommendation to add to this, so that when we need to get closer to moving forward with a nomination or a heavy recruitment, we can prioritize this list a little bit more. Any more discussion that we should, while we're on the topic of the pipeline, the board member pipeline?
What do you think would be a good, if we're at the table on Saturday and we are talking to someone that might be interested in either joining the board or joining a committee, what's the next point of contact? Like, here's where you should find more information? Should it just be straight to the website, or would it be more beneficial for contact information to be exchanged?
My recommendation would be contact information exchanged. And one of us, anyone. So if, say, you're the first point of contact, you pull somebody in, say, hey, I just want to introduce you to some others, right? Whether it's staff or members of this committee or Kyle, and just to learn more, or people who are former board members. I look to some of our, really engage our emeritus. So Steve's on this committee too, who have had experience and been able to contribute to the community in a meaningful way through the partnership. So I think any one of us could be a good ambassador, but part of it is just establishing multiple contacts with that person, so they have feel like they know a couple of people on the board, and maybe we can answer questions in a different way.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think it would, if the person really seems interested, Prabhas, I would say take their contact information, phone number, email, name, and then somebody can reach out to them. Sometimes we used to just go and have coffee with somebody and let them ask us questions about the board and the partnership and what was our purpose, and just general questions. And that seemed to be helpful to people.
I like that approach. I think that's a good one.
But Betsy, would you go in years past, would you go to the other booths and talk to them about involvement?
Well, Cynthia and I at the end used to walk around to every damn booth in the place and thank them for being there and ask how their experience was. What else did we ask, Cynthia? I don't remember. Just thank them.
That was it. Yeah, and we'll do that again. Well, probably I will do it because Emily's at HQ. So I will do that. But generally at the partnership table at the festival, people are fairly stationary. And since 3 out of the 4 of you are on right now, you will be getting an email from me probably Thursday with what's going to be at the table, the packet. Kathleen's putting together some nice information along with, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes, but the strategic plan. So you'll have some more information, background information that you would need, and a couple of handouts. Although we're not really supposed to. It's supposed to be a low waste event.
Oh, okay.
Don't tell Ginny.
No.
I think that thinking about the pitch for Boss, the timing is couldn't be more important, right? With the new strategic plan coming, that needs to be enacted, and just the needs of the community, coming out of COVID, and there's a significant need for volunteer engagement and connecting with the community. So if anybody has that kind of pull to do that, we want to engage them as we can, and make it a rewarding experience for them.
Yeah, I like that ear to the community. I think while we don't necessarily know the outcome of the strategic plan and how that might change our vision, I think there are some things that we can say, regardless of maybe mission or statement changes, but ear to the community, helping out our businesses, those tenets will never change. So just maybe mentioning those.
Yeah.
You can also tell them what we've done in the past, and what we do on an ongoing basis, and how the organization is set up, and yada yada. You probably know more than I do.
No, excellent. Well, thank you for reviewing that. That was item number 5. Number 6 is scheduled check-in with board members. And I think I had brought that up about, as members were approaching sort of their midway point to inviting them into this committee to get a sense of checking in on them, making sure everything. And I see, Cynthia, that I think you put some of those on the on our work plan so that they're built into our meeting schedule, which I think is a good way to do it. We just know that what's coming up. But and then the other thing was checking in with the other committees. I guess if Kyle's joining, well, then we have another connection to the executive committee. It would just be the other, the finance, whether check in with the chair there too, and inviting the chair to join our meeting just as an update. Was there anything else that you wanted to cover in that, Cynthia?
Yeah, I just wanted to double check because the work plan update was done before Amanda resigned. So I didn't know if you wanted to tag team Emily and Mario in October or split them up. So have one in October and one in November.
Any thoughts?
What do you think, Cynthia? Should we split them up?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you,
No,
I didn't think you were talking to me. Whatever you all
Everybody.
want, it doesn't matter to me.
Thank you.
I mean, it partly depends on their schedules too. So I could email both of them and say, here are the options.
Yeah.
But it could be a little longer meeting if you do them both at the same time.
Mhm.
No preference.
Okay.
Whatever works.
Let's do, can we try them for the same one? And it looks like October. If we could offer October up, and then with the chance that maybe one of them just can't make that meeting, then they get November, they can defer to the next one. But sometimes there's something gained by having you're not put on the spot. It's just a different dialogue that back and forth, especially since we're doing it on Zoom. It might be more fruitful if we have them as a pair.
Okay,
And again,
I'll reach out to them.
okay. Thank you. The next piece was update on the strategic plan.
Sorry.
What was that? Did I miss something?
Oh, just I could just, the emails keep coming in and coming in. Where's this? What's this? I'm sorry.
I'm in a meeting.
Yeah.
Put your email on mute. Sean, did you want to provide an update to the committee on the strategic plan?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's not much to update since the last time we've spoken about it. We're still marching towards the public presentation. Word's been going out through various communications. I think Cynthia sent a note this morning that we're got about 25 RSVPs from those communications, some of which she didn't recognize names. So that might be good, might be bad, who knows, but we hope it's good. I am going to suggest, Cynthia, I'll be sending you in response to that, just maybe a way to switch up the communications going forward as we approach the date, just to tug at people a bit more, just try something different with less words, a little more simplified, bold headline, not as much detail, less wordy, see if that grabs more attention. So I think people will start to pay more attention to, or run a greater probability of paying more attention to these things as a date approaches, as opposed to a month out. So that's good that we captured some interest and some new faces early on, but now the final push, I think, leading up to presentation date, we can try some different communications, just play with the wording a bit.
Cynthia, did I sign up for that?
I don't think so. All the signups are going to MDP email, which
Oh,
Kathleen monitors, so. But if I can add you to the list, Betsy, she's got a whole process.
what is it? I can't remember when. I've got so many
It's-
things going on.
It's October 7th at 7 o'clock on Zoom.
Okay,
And Sean, just in full, so Kathleen will do a harder push next week, but with the festival, she's got numerous tasks that she has to do for that too, so
Yep.
we'll keep pushing, we push it at the festival. But if you can let me know what you would like us to do, we can
Yeah.
do our best to get that out. Not necessarily now, but in your email.
Is there do you mean that there's kind of a blackout period where there won't be any communications going out for next week?
Well, I don't know if I call it blackout. We still have to promote the road closures. She has other tasks that she has to do for the festival. So I'm trying to, what's the
Yeah.
word? Prioritize.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So, I think she
So
did.
there's no scheduled announcements or anything like that for this week that you're aware of?
I'm just pulling up the email that has the whole outreach.
Well, that's okay. I'll get something out to you tonight for sure.
Yeah, and let's see what she's done all the social media, she sent it to the press. On the partnership website, it's been in Daily Digest. Sent it to our MailChimp members, all our businesses, all our general interest, town employees, Board of Ed, I sent to Kelly and to Sharon. We did Notify Me, which I think I told you, Sean, in that email. That's probably where we got some of those folks I wasn't familiar with. So and the town newsletter is going out on Thursday, so it'll be in the town newsletter. So we can do some more shout outs, as soon as we can.
Okay, so maybe the most nimble thing to do is just take it as a suggestion, and Kathleen can apply it to whatever she's able to. Like if there's things already in the can ready to be published for next week for the final push, that's fine. But if there's things like social media,
Yep.
that's type as you go, that's very easy to change the messaging. That'd be great.
Yeah.
It couldn't hurt.
No, that's no problem. She should definitely be able to do that.
And I don't even think I signed. Was there an expectation that board members sign up too?
I think you told board members that they didn't necessarily need to attend at the last board meeting.
Okay, did a calendar invite go out to board members just in case though? Because I'm not actually seeing it on my own calendar.
No, I probably didn't, so I can do that.
Yeah, we should get one out.
Mhm.
Just in case other folks are wondering the time. It's right after our board meeting, right?
Well, it's at 7.
Yeah, well,
We have a short agenda right now for the board meeting. We'll see, right?
yeah.
You never know.
Thank you, Sean.
I'll do that when we're done with this meeting.
Just thank you, Cynthia, for sending out the packet that was the board orientation PowerPoint, and made me think that, oh, wow, even this, we have to even review that in light of strategic planning. And then to Prabhas's point on page 13 of those slides was board expectations. Like, oh, that's probably exactly what I would cover if I was trying to recruit somebody on board. It would probably be those board expectations, but we have to start thinking about this with the lens of the strategic plan, and are these still the messages that we want to get across as to what the important role of the board members are. So as members of the governance committee, I hope you'll all look at these and to keep these things in mind when we're reviewing the strategic plan. Anything else, Sean? No.
I
Okay.
don't think so. No, nothing comes to mind, Frank. I think that, whatever folks can do to raise their own interest amongst their peer groups or friends and families, as long as they're from the area, we'd love to hear anybody's thoughts.
Excellent. When was the last strategic plan? When was that? Who was involved in that? Betsy and Diana, were you guys involved in the strategic plan the last time?
2010.
2010.
2015.
Oh,
2015.
15.
I thought it was a 10-year plan. 5-year?
It was a 3-year plan.
3.
3-year?
Yep.
Is there any experiences from them in terms of, getting input that could inform us now as to, what voices do you wish we had heard more from then? And, the circumstances are so different now, but I don't know, there's always something to be gained looking back on what we had experienced in the past. And you two are the ones that, and Cynthia,
Oh, boy.
would have that would have that frame of reference.
I'm sorry, it was 2016.
Oh, 5 years ago. 5 years ago.
Yeah, all I can remember at this point, God, it feels like forever ago, that it expired in 2020. So we were already, that's what kind of inspired us to that in the pandemic, that now's the time. So
Mhm.
I guess I had forgotten it was only a 3-year plan, which is probably why we made our schedule in the same ballpark. I think we did ours like at year 3, we had a milestone leading up to with a 5-year vision anyway.
But getting input from the community, was this were you coming up against the same challenges?
We didn't do anywhere near as
time.
extensive
Really?
public outreach for the strategic plan. I mean,
Ah.
involved the committees, involved property owners, involved some key stakeholders, but it was not at the same level as what we're doing now. It was a lot of what came out of this, I think, as most folks know, is a lot of governance. That's kind of Francine's expertise, in my opinion. So she got us really kind of set on that, and then kind of looking at the partnerships role, because we had taken on the operations role and continuing that, and how that, with the Nash Simmer, with the downtown and the beautification. And so it was probably lighter on what we're trying to do now in terms of engaging the property owners and the businesses.
Okay.
Cynthia, what was it we were doing when we had all the meetings at schools and remember? God. It might have been-
How far back are we going?
At the beginning, I don't know. I have no sense of time when it comes to committees.
You're not talking about the open houses at the schools that we used to do, are you?
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I don't know.
Yeah, we were doing that before anything was built, just to get the
Oh,
word
okay.
out on what was coming and build
As I
enthusiasm.
said, I have no.
If that's what you're talking about, I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure Lou Di Loretto was involved. I'm just thinking of the schools when we put this plan together. It has a list in the appendix of everybody that we talked to. So, I mean, all the property owners were talked to.
Mhm.
Yeah, Lou is mentioned here. Planning and Zoning Commission member, a couple of businesses, Connecticut Main Street Center, some Yukon, Rita Zangari from Yukon. So,
Cynthia, if I remember right, I think it was more of a, it wasn't really an open list. It was more of a given and planned list
yeah, exactly, Diana.
at
Yes.
that point. If
Yep.
I remember for that one.
Good. Well, thank you for this review of the strategic plan. Next is the board engagement activity grid, which you have as part of your packet. It's helpful to look at that as we also think about the needs of on the pipeline. So I don't know, does anybody have any comments they want to make on that? Or boss?
Oh, not on the grid, but just a general thought that I don't know if it exists already, but I was thinking about how we could help with some of this staffing in the downtown, and I'm sure across Mansfield. I was just wondering if there's one, central website that someone that's looking for some employment can go to that would list all of the openings in the downtown. And if that's maybe something that we could think about moving forward. Not saying that we have to be the ones that take that assignment on, but maybe making a recommendation to the town if that doesn't already exist. I think it'd be a great benefit to have one specific to the downtown where downtown owners can just put a request, here's what we need, and it just becomes one central
So
place.
it's an electronic bulletin board?
Yeah, I think there would be some value to that rather than, people going store to store and trying to figure it out, or relying on one company's social media, just having it all in one spot, I think could be a recommendation.
Prabhas, do you know how it works at the university for student
Yeah.
employment? Where do they go?
We have JobX, which
Okay.
will really breaks it down into if you're looking for like work study or looking for labor, paid hours, and then you can break it down between regional and stores. So you can get very specific in it. It's updated pretty frequently. So that's the go-to for students for on-campus and off-campus, or for on-campus jobs.
Mhm.
I think it's a great idea. I know another town, I can't remember, is doing that. So let me look into that. I just saw it a couple of weeks ago, but yeah.
Thank you, Prabhas. Anything else on the board engagement and activity grid? No? It's approaching 5 o'clock. Is there any last comments for the meeting before we, yes, Diana?
I just want to comment on, I don't know if anybody else listened to the Wayne Norman interview that Cynthia and Emily and Denise did, but I thought it was so well done, and it was a great way to promote the Celebrate Mansfield. And I just, if you get a chance, but it's so professional, but so I thought it was really, really very well done. So, I don't know, we want to make sure, I mean, obviously Cynthia's here to hear that, but so that Emily and Denise hear that, I was impressed when I was listening to it. So it made me want to go, even though I was already planning on going.
Those
So-
two are pros. I
Oh
gotta
my
tell you,
gosh.
aren't they? Those-
Yes.
Yep. I share your sentiment, Diana, and I told them we were in 3 separate rooms doing this on a conference call. But Kathleen does have the link on our Facebook page, so you can get to it from there.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it really is great. So I was quite impressed.
And speaking of Kathleen, if you happen to contact her between now and the 3rd is her birthday.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
really? Terrific.
Good to know.
And Denise's is the 5th.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Everything wrapped up the first weekend in October.
Yeah, they're full loose and fancy free on the 4th. Just be me holding down the fort here.
So this should be reflected in the
Party hats
minutes,
in the
the appreciation for the program on the Wayne Norman show. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was great.
I tell you, as an observer and patron of the downtown, the last month since the students have been back, and to see the activity, it's very heartening to see businesses come alive a little bit. The Betsy Patterson Square has been busy because everybody's eating outside and the weather's been conducive to that, and it's really nice to see our community come alive again. So thank you this is sort of why we're here too.
Mhm.
And there's
So-
whale tea open and Brooklyn dumplings coming in, so it's just getting better and better.
That's right. Awesome.
So I think that maybe our strategic plan is one word: patience.
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 Perseverance. How about just a strategic plan with a lot of P words?
Perfect. Perfect. Hopefully it's perfect.
That's good.
Your last one.
Well, thank you all. Do I have a motion to move this to an adjournment?
So moved.
Betsy,
So moved.
so moved. Second, I guess we don't need a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
All right.
Been great visiting with you. I'm glad we did this, covered this in an hour.
Yeah.
Good
Thank you
job.
for all your work and good luck as we prepare for the final stretch here for the festival. Really looking forward to it.
I
Everybody for all your help.
to everyone that I will not be there, but I just don't feel comfortable doing it. It's my age. What can
Yeah.
Yeah, Betsy, and that's a good choice. I don't know if you guys know, but my mother just passed 2 weeks ago she was in the hospital and with something else, and she ended up with COVID, and she was vaccinated.
God.
And
Oh.
I'm
so
sorry.
I'm right there
Sorry
with
to
you,
hear that.
Betsy.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and in the meantime, my brother and sister that were visiting her in the hospital also ended up with it. So
Oh, boy.
getting it from her. So it's been a tough, that COVID thing is front and center on my mind. So still be careful, still be safe.
That's what I've been doing.
Yep.
All
Very
right.
sorry to hear that, Diana.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
difficult.
it's affects it's affected a lot of people.
Yep.
So
Yep. And we thought we were in the clear because everybody's vaccinated, but
Yep,
it doesn't always work that way.
it's true.
So
well,
Yeah.
everyone stay safe and we'll see you so our next meeting is actually the board meeting coming up.
Yes.
And then
Yep.
all right.
Cynthia,
Well,
do I need to
something
do
is happening.
something to take part in that strategic plan thing?
No, if you're telling me you're gonna be there, then we're set. I just gotta find myself and find a note. And I'll send the email out, which you'll also get.
Okay,
and we'll go from there.
all right, thank you.
Great.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, bye-bye.
Good
Good night.
night.
Bye-bye.